Hello everybody, my name is Michael, and in today's video what we're going to be doing is this right here. So if that looks exciting to you guys, please carry on and watch the video. Oh, and just one more thing before we go. Please consider like, commenting, and subscribing if you enjoyed the video. But now with all that out of the way, let's carry on with the video. Okay, so starting off by painting Van Richten here, what we're going to do is going to start off with his skin tone, and we'll be using barbarian flesh to do this. It's going to be a nice base layer for his skin tone, so it's going to be a great place to start from. Of course, we want to be hitting every area where we can see any of his skin available. Of course, that's his face and his hands, since he's wearing a lot of clothing overall, so there's not too much to paint here with our skin layer. Also, too, just to let you know that I've also just added a bit of texture to his base, because a miniature doesn't have any texture on his base, so I've just added that in there to give a little bit more visual interest element when we've had it all painted up and got it nice and fun looking at the end. But with that, all we want to do is make sure we get a good coverage with our skin tone here, so we get it nice and even, we don't have any splotchy places. So remember to thin your paints and use 2 thin coats. Then once we have his skin layer painted up, we're going to come in with a highlight layer of skin. We're going to be using kobold skin to do this, a nice lighter tone. So of course we want to be naturally hitting those high point areas, sort of like the tip of his nose, the edge of his knuckles and his fingers there, and also the tip of the forehead as well. So we want to be placing these highlights to give it effect like the sun is brightening up the skin when it's hitting him directly. So we want to be aiming for those sort of areas while we're doing it. Of course, leaving it enough of the previous layer as well, so we can definitely tell that that's a highlight. Then once we have those layers of skin down, what we'll be doing now is applying a wash, and this is going to be flesh tone wash, and we'll be applying this over all of our skin. And the reason why I'm doing this instead of washing and then highlighting over top of it is I want to add in a few more interest in having those highlights tied in with the skin tone a little bit more, and applying the highlights and then putting a wash over top of it blends them a lot more together, so that's why I've done it. But you can do it of course either way if you want those highlights a bit bolder as well. Then once we have that wash completely dry, what we're going to do now is come in with some ivory, and what we're going to be doing this is we're going to be using it for Van Richten's hair, so giving it a nice overall coat too. Of course, being careful not to accidentally hit the skin area that we have completed at the moment too, because we don't want to spend too much time trying to fix that up. So practice a lot of brush control here, and as you can see too, he also has sculpted on him some nice sideburns, so you want to make sure you get those as well. Don't be afraid to switch to a smaller brush if you need to, a finer tip to help out with your brush control here. Just something we want to be aware of as we're painting this up, so we have that skin nice and complete, and we don't want to apply too much paint there and try to correct anything if we make any accidental mistakes. Then once we have his hair painted up, what we're doing now is going to come in with some deck tan, and this is a off-white sort of creamy-ish colour, and we want to be applying this to his undershirt here. He's got a nice big leather jacket on, and then a nice shirt underneath with a bunch of buckles and stuff there. So that's what we want to be aiming for here, and get into those nooks and crannies, especially with the coat and those belts in there too. We want to make sure we get a nice good even layer. As well as that too, he also has an under collar as well there. We want to be picking up, being very, very careful that we don't get any of the paint over the face and the skin where we've already painted up. So if you need to, switch to a finer tip brush to get into those sort of areas and really give a good overall coverage. Then once we have that complete, what we're doing now is coming in with some khaki, and we're going to be using this for his pants. So a nice neutral tone, and as I'm painting Van Richten up here too, I'm also being careful and trying to follow sort of his official canon artwork that he usually has in his books and things, to try and match it as close as I can with the colours I've got, to give him that sort of authentic Van Richten look as well. So if going for sort of like the official canon look, or at least close to it, as close to it as I can get with the colours I have on hand anyway, this is going to be great to try and replicate him exactly. Okay, then once we have that complete, what we're going to do now is coming in with some dark stone, and this is a very dark brownish grey, and we want to be using this for his boots, as you can see here, giving them a nice good overall colour. And you can see it's more brown than grey too, so it's going to really help separate it out from the other. Van Richten wears a lot of browns and khaki colours, very sort of neutral colours, so sort of a bit boring to paint all of our leather areas exactly the same way, so I'm going to be mixing it up and adding in different colours, but still keeping that overall look and making it try to look like the official artwork that Van Richten has. Then once we have that complete, what we're going to be doing now is going to come in with some rigid leather. And this is going to be for Van Richten's iconic coat that he wears. And it's a nice sort of reddish brown colour here. Now in the artwork here, it varies quite drastically with what colours Van Richten's coat has. I've seen it as like this, a very reddish brown, to a very, very dark brown, almost black, to even sort of a yellowy mustard colour here. So sort of split the difference with what I'm going for here and going for this sort of reddish brown tone, and with the rigid leather gives off a very nice distinct colour for sort of that iconic leather coat look. And as we're painting it up here too, you can also see there's a lot of nice crinkles and folds and detail in this coat as well. So making sure that we get a good overall even coverage, and like I said before, we want to make sure we do 2 thin coats to get that really nice and even a third coat if the paint gets a little bit thin here like mine is. I sort of watered it down a little bit too much, so I'm probably going to need 3 coats to get it nice and even, but we want to make sure that we get that nice good overall even coverage, especially with this nice iconic coat too. We want to give it that nice rich color, and giving those extra layers is going to really help it out too. Then once we have that all complete, what we're going to do now is we're going to come in with some mahogany brown. And what we're going to be doing with this is we're just going to be coming in and picking out his belts that he has across his chest there. As well as that, we are also going to be picking out the pouches on the side of his coat as well. So don't forget to do those where you're painting them up, and you can see it's quite difficult to maneuver yourself around and really get at those. So don't be afraid if you need to switch to a smaller brush to do this, or as you can see here, spin the model around on something so you can really get at those angles nice and easy. Okay, and then once we've got that complete, what we're going to do now is going to come in with some matte black. And what we're going to do with this is we want to be using it for painting up the glasses that Van Richten wears, being very, very careful and using a very, very fine brush to paint in his glasses. They are actually sculpted on his face, and you can see them, probably a little bit hard to see on camera here. But as you can see, I've got a very fine tip brush and just steadily going in and painting them on. Also too, I'm going to be blacking out all the rim of the glasses and that there, because we're going to come in with a little bit of colour in later to paint those lenses to really make it look like he's wearing some glasses there. So very, very steady hand needed for this, and don't be afraid to switch to a smaller brush and really take your time on this. Then once we have that complete, what we're going to be doing now is coming in with some orange brown. And all I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be applying this to his stake that he has for slaying his vampires. And they're just a different colour for the nice stake that we've got in there to add in and give that different colour. And that orange brown is going to help separate it from all the other browns we have on Van Richten too. Okay guys, so just as we're coming on to the next step here, I've realized that the remaining files I have for the video of painting up Van Richten have accidentally been corrupted and deleted, and I was unable to recover any of them. So sorry about that guys. I just wanted to let you know too that the paints, as always, that I use for this will all be in the description, so you can add it in some of the other paints that I didn't get to show on camera, me applying to down there, so you can see what I use as well to finish this off. But just as a quick summary, I added in some xanathar blue to those eyes that we were painting up with the glasses on there, giving them a little dot each so it can give that effect of having glasses, as well as that bright blue to really help show off his nice feature there and add in a bit of visual interest. As well as that, we also painted up his cane, and that's just with the end with a little bit of gold and then the blade itself with a silver. And then I just proceeded to highlight our miniature up with the same version of the paint, so just the exact same colors that we applied to all those other areas over the top of that wash in those highest points to give that nice overall effect of the highlights that we need to. So sorry about that guys, having the videos corrupt and I was unable to recover them, but that's what we got for our nice overall look of Van Richten, and with that we'll close out the video. And with all that complete, we have finally finished painting up Rudolph Van Richten from the Dungeons & Dragons miniature range by Wizkids. So I hope this video has been helpful for you guys, whether you want to follow along with what I did here, or you just want to use this video as some inspiration in painting up your own miniatures. But with all that said, guys, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video.